The Auburn softball program has gone from one of the most recognizable and one of the most well-respected programs in the country. Now, after the resignation of Clint Myers, there's an internal investigation going on, and we're here today to make sense of all that. I'm with John Talty, Kevin Scarbinsky, and John, I'll start with you. What is the latest on this? Can you summarize sort of where we're at in the process right now?
Yeah, so the most recent thing that coming out of this is Auburn's president, Stephen Leith, hiring Lightfoot, Franklin and White, a Birmingham law firm, to do a comprehensive review of the softball program to determine if there are any unresolved issues. So trying to kind of figure out maybe things that still might be a problem even after Clint Myers and Corey Myers both have been gone after all the allegations and Title IX complaints and things like that. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. But obviously, the last week or so, a lot of conversation and talk about, after ESPN's, blockbuster story, kind of looking at the major problems within the Auburn softball program. So I think they're still kind of working through some of those different problems. But that's the most recent thing now is that, university president finally kind of coming out and putting some forth of action about kind of where things go from here.
So this was obviously a lot of stuff that is coming to light now. Kevin, what do you think is the most concerning thing that you've seen thus far that's been reported?
Well, the most concerning thing is the allegation that an assistant coach, Corey Myers, was preying, and not P-R-A-Y, preying on Auburn softball players with the knowledge of his father, the head coach, Clint Myers, and Clint Myers did nothing to stop it. And this goes back who knows how long. I don't think we have a good answer on that yet. That's the most serious thing here. That can't happen. That's unconscionable behavior. And the question becomes, when did they know it? And how long was Corey Myers allowed to stay on that staff after they knew it? I don't think we know an answer to that yet. Another interesting aspect of this is the seeming disconnect between the athletic department and the university. We saw a flurry of statements over the weekend in which the university has contradicted things that the athletic department has told us about the softball program throughout the last year. When Corey Myers resigned and they put out a statement that night and let him couch it as if it was his decision and it was for family reasons, that they couched Clint Myers' departure as a retirement with a complimentary quote from Jay Jacobs just last week. And a week later, the university puts out a statement on Sunday and says there are reasons, there were changes, my emphasis changes plural, in the softball program, which would indicate that both Corey Myers and Clint Myers were forced out as a result of this investigation. There's still much we don't know. This is a very serious situation. It's serious, again, at the heart, because of the way those softball players were, what they were subjected to, allegedly. And then how did Auburn handle it, not just in the softball program, but from the oversight of the athletic department.
So that leads us right into this next question. Where does this story go next? Talty, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so the obvious answer is just kind of looking at what this comprehensive review turns up. But I think kind of going off what Kevin said, I'm most interested in just looking at how the administration handled it, what they knew, when they knew it. We, as an organization, have filed a lot of public record requests over the last 5-6 months. We've gotten none of those back. I think we've been trying to establish a paper trail. I think a lot of people want to know, they're saying, one of the girls who filed the Title IX complaint, and this started in September 2016, whereas Jay Jacobs is coming and saying in April he has no knowledge of an investigation. Then Auburn spokesperson saying that was unfortunate. There's just all these kind of different unknown things about when they knew, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of what happens going forward. Does Jay Jacobs survive this? Does Meredith Jenkins survive this? Who, was quoted in that ESPN story very unfortunately and really concerning what some of the things that she said to those softball players, all the different issues between statement to statement, how does that work out? And then this is a much smaller issue, but they just lost a very successful head coach, and rightfully so, but who comes in to take this job? This is such a disaster of a program right now in terms of all the different internal issues. If Jay Jacobs stays and Meredith Jenkins stays, what good softball coach wants to come in here and play and coach that program? So there's just a lot of different issues that I don't think we really know what's going to happen with yet, but there's a lot. I don't think the story is even remotely close to being finished. I think there's a lot more that we still need to know.
And Kevin, what do you think?
The overarching question is the future of Jay Jacobs as the Auburn athletics director. How much more of this will come out that we don't know? He has sidestepped a number of landmines throughout his career, but this is another example of a head coach hire made by him that looked good on the front end. In this case, looked good for 4 years on the field in performance. And now it looks like another hire that's blown up in his face. Can he survive this? He is a very savvy political animal. And just to make a comment about Lightfoot, Franklin and White, the law firm that's doing this review of the softball program, it is interesting that he said review of the softball program, not the athletic department. That firm has a long history of working with Auburn, going back to Sam Franklin working with Pat Dye during the Erica Ramsey situation with the NCAA back in the early 90s. So hopefully they'll do a full and comprehensive review, not just of the softball program, but how the athletic department handled this situation.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the insight. We appreciate it. And, of course, for all the updates on this story as this ongoing investigation continues, you can visit us on AL.com.